Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore is out in theaters now, and it's made its money for the weekend. And I just wanted to talk a little bit more in depth about some of the things that I didn't really like, or a term that I used in my spoiler-free video about damage control and where the future of this series could actually be heading, whether or not it's going to stop here. I just have a lot to say about some of the choices in the script and the direction the movie took. I just couldn't express in my spoiler-free review. This is going to be a little bit of a different spoiler review. I think I found a niche with the format with the past few spoiler reviews, breaking it up into topics and chapters. That way you guys can skip ahead to what you want to hear about. But I'm not going to do that with this video. I feel like that's a little impossible, especially since I am going to be talking about the thing that I did mention in that spoiler-free review, and that is damage control. I think most of this spoiler video is going to revolve around damage control, so let's just get right into it. As I said in my spoiler-free review, I did appreciate the fact that Secrets of Dumbledore at least had a plot. It may be a super messy plot, but at least it had a plot. But there were many things in the movie that I didn't feel like were going to pertain to the actual main plot. There's a lot of moving parts here. Some of it is still filler. Some of it is still just subplots, but, the beginning of the movie where Newt finds the Chillin and then Credence and the rest of Grindelwald's followers come and kill the mother Chillin and another Chillin, and then Newt has, like, the twin Chillin, and they kill that Chillin because they find out that it's part of this ritual for this Wizarding World election that Grindelwald wants to win. Okay, that's some plot, but I just don't really see what the whole point of it was. Like, the Chillin, the idea of the Chillin was cool because it's a creature that can see, like, the purest of heart and can see right into your soul, which I thought was really interesting. Using that as a plot device for an election wasn't really my cup of tea, nor was that whole election plot line. I really didn't want to see Grindelwald rise into power and say, the things that are going to happen that I predicted are going to happen in the previous movie are going to come to light, so this is how I have to stop all that and start a war on the Muggle world. And it's just like, yeah, it's damage control, because let's face it, in Crimes of Grindelwald, the dude smoked some shit, he vaped out of like a skull or something, and then within the vape smoke, he was just like, yeah, my big plan is to just kill the Muggles because, hey, World War II's happening, and they're just going to kill each other anyways. At least that's how I saw it. I don't even know if that movie even explains what Grindelwald's actual plan is. From everybody I've talked to, that's the takeaway of Grindelwald's plan in Crimes of Grindelwald. And that makes no sense, but at least this movie took it a step further and to be like, okay, we're going to do a little bit of damage control. We're going to make it so that he has to get into power in order to do that. I'm just like, yeah, now you're negating what Crimes of Grindelwald did. And I'm not, I'm really knocking on the movie for that, even though it sounds like I'm going to, and I'm probably going to contradict myself a lot. But, like, at the same time, I'm just like, you're just making up for the fact that there was no rhyme or reason for Grindelwald to vape out of a skull and project images of World War II into the smoke cloud. The dumbest shit in the second one is all retconned, so now we come up with this plot to retcon that or explain that. It's like, okay, we get the answers we finally need, but it just feels like a forced retcon or damage control, because everybody was like, well, what the hell is that supposed to mean? This movie's like, okay, here's this Wizarding World election that Grindelwald is going to be a part of. This is the reason that shit in Crimes of Grindelwald had to happen. It's like, okay, at least we get a little bit of an explanation. But still, it's stupid. And then Credence Barabone. Credence Barabone is, like, legitimately the worst character in these entire things. This was also damage control. The first one, he's this obscurus thing, this parasite that's taking over him, and he's slowly dying, and he actually becomes this parasite. And then the second one, he's randomly back, and he's trying to find his heritage, and we learn that he is this super secret Dumbledore brother that we've never even heard of in Harry Potter lore, called Aurelius Dumbledore. Everybody's like, whoa! Who the fuck is that? Nobody cares about this random Dumbledore brat. I don't buy that at all. He's supposed to be Jude Law's little brother? Hell no. But then Secrets of Dumbledore comes around and it's like, he is not a long-lost Dumbledore brother. He's the illegitimate son of Aberforth Dumbledore. Again, damage control. People didn't like that in the second one. We're going to try and fix it in this one, and hopefully they go along with that. And nobody's still going to go along with it, because when did Aberforth Dumbledore ever have a brother? If anybody in the Dumbledore family is of importance, it's the sister. We know that from Harry Potter. Why are we focusing on this random Dumbledore who apparently now is Aberforth Dumbledore's illegitimate son? See what I mean? It's damage control. And then the blood pact, in the end, the blood pact between Dumbledore and Grindelwald doesn't even fucking matter. They created this blood pact in Crimes of Grindelwald that said, like, no, we're in love, but we can't fight each other, which was one of the stupidest things I've ever seen. And then in this one, it's like, well, that blood pact that's in that locket gets broken, and now they are going to duel, and they actually duel in this movie, but the duel is like, okay, it's over. Or it's like, whoa, that was like the lamest duel ever. But it's like in the second one, it's like, oh, they can't duel because of this blood pact. This one, oh, hey, this blood pact is broken. Now they can duel. See what I mean? It's damage control. They know that they fucked up with the second movie, and now they're trying to fix it in this movie. And while we're still on the topic of damage control, Queenie, fuck, Jesus Christ, man. Queenie was the best character in the first one. The second one just royally fucked her over. And this one attempts to fix it, but I feel like they just make it worse. Like, every situation they're trying to fix with damage control, they're just making the situations worse. She comes back to the side of Jacob and Newt and everybody, but like the reasons are really shallow and unclear. And then she and Jacob get married for real at the end of the movie this time, and I'm just like, I'm not buying this. How am I supposed to buy somebody who legitimately drugged Jacob in between movies and at the beginning of the last one to marry him? I feel like he would be pissed off, and then she abandoned him to go join Grindelwald's side because she believed in stupid shit that didn't end up mattering in the end. Yeah, her whole character in the second one was just completely ruined. The attempts to fix it in this one didn't work for me. To make matters worse, they're just like, yeah, if this damage control that we're doing, like trying to fix everything, doesn't work and it just makes things worse, let's just write an ending that feels like it could be the end of the series here. Because this was always intended to be at least a trilogy, but then J.K. Rowling was like, no, it's going to be 5 movies. I swear to God, I don't think we're getting 5 movies here. I don't even think we're getting a 4th one. I think Warner Brothers will be very lucky if they actually do a 4th one, because I really don't think that this thing is going to have legs. The critical reviews have been better than the second one, but still not great. Opening weekend only made $43 million. At this point, this is what happens with prequels. You just mess with the lore so much that everything that was previously established feels like it goes for naught now, and you have to roll with the new punches, because what prequels are telling you is that, oh hey, this is the lore now, ignore everything you know now, and this is how we're doing it now. But now this movie is fixing everything. It's such a convoluted mess. See, this is how the Fantastic Beasts movies should have went. The first one should have just been called Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. A one-and-done spin-off about these beasts getting loose in New York and Newt Scamander having to find them. I would have been fine with that if it was a one-and-done thing. Then, if you want to do the story of Dumbledore and Grindelwald and their big battle, do that as a separate series. Don't incorporate it into the Fantastic Beasts movies. Or do what Star Wars is doing. Just do one-off spin-offs here and there. Like Rogue One, an anthology movie about how the rebels got the Death Star plans. Okay, we don't need a sequel to that. We are getting a Cassian Andor series on Disney+, but we don't need an actual movie sequel to Rogue One. The first Fantastic Beasts movie stood on its own. It had a beginning and a middle, and it had a definitive ending. It felt like its own little thing. And now, because we stretched the story out to 3 movies now, and possibly 5, again, I don't think we're getting 5, it just feels like everything in the middle here, there's no plan. It's all just going to be filler to get to that big battle that Dumbledore and Grindelwald are going to have in 1945, although that duel does occur in this movie. And the way this movie wraps up, it feels like they know it's the end. They know they're not getting a 4th one. They know they're not getting a 5th one. They're like, yeah, we royally fucked this up. We're trying to fix things. We don't have a plan. Nobody really likes these movies. Everybody hated the last one, so we'll just put it out of its misery now, and we'll just end it here. It does, even though Grindelwald is still alive. He gets like knocked off a ledge or something. I just remember him going flying backwards. I'm like, yeah, that's not the last we've seen of that guy. But it could be if we don't get 4 and 5. The movie wraps up in a definitive way where I'm like, okay, this is a trilogy wrap up that had no plan and was just damage control for the damage that Crimes did that Secrets had to fix. To me, these 3 Fantastic Beasts movies are more of a mess than the Star Wars sequel trilogy. Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and The Rise of Skywalker, watch them back to back to back. There's actually a coherent story there. This is just like a hodgepodge of different subplots and plot lines and characters and new spells that we never heard of, just thrown into a skillet and tossed up into the air, and whichever one's on the ceiling, that's the one that sticks. That's how I feel about these Fantastic Beasts movies. Even the action scenes were kind of lame. Like, there's this one towards the end in, like, Bhutan that is just all fan service. Like, they throw a bunch of objects at, like, these Grindelwald supporters, and then all of a sudden you hear the dun 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 part of Hedwig's theme, and you get, like, the golden snitch coming out of nowhere, and the monster book of monsters. I'm like, okay, this is so on the nose fan service. What is happening right now? All those things are used as a distraction, and that scene did not work for me. I was just, that was bad fan service. That was fan service that completely took me out of the movie. I didn't go like, oh yeah, I remember that. I was just like, why is part of Hedwig's theme playing right now? Like, this isn't the main Harry Potter series. This is the spin-off of Harry Potter. I know we're still in the Wizarding World. We shouldn't be playing Hedwig's theme right now. We also should not be hearing dun 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 when Hogwarts appears. Oh yeah, and the way they get to Hogwarts is weird. I don't even remember. I just remember they pop up like at some lake, and then all of a sudden you just camera pans over a mountain and there's Hogwarts and it's dun 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 dun. Like, okay. It was like, at least the way they panned over the mountains in Crimes of Grindelwald and they played that music worked for me and somewhat tricked me the first time I saw that, where I was like, okay, now the movie's actually kind of getting good. But every time I see that movie now, I'm just like, yeah, no, Hogwarts can be out of Crimes of Grindelwald. No need to go here. No need for the Hogwarts theme in these movies, or the Hedwig's theme in these movies. And why on earth Professor McGonagall is teaching at Hogwarts in 1927, I have no idea. How old does that make her in Sorcerer's Stone? How old is Maggie Smith supposed to be? This is gonna be the question of these movies forever, if they make a 4 and a 5 and we still see Professor McGonagall teaching in the 1920s and 30s at Hogwarts. We're just going to be questioning how old Professor McGonagall is supposed to be in Sorcerer's Stone. At least the Niffler had the greatest scenes in the movie. He was barely in the second one. He was the best part of the first one. He's the best part of this movie. The Niffler is the best part of all these movies. What can I tell you? I mean, I want a Niffler. He can sneak into places for me. Go buy me a Blu-ray at Best Buy. The Niffler will come back for it without being seen. Go buy me a video game at GameStop. He'll come back with it unseen. Greatest creature ever. He would be the greatest pet ever next to a dog. Dogs are still number 1. That's what I wanted to talk about in this spoiler review of Secrets of Dumbledore. I just felt that much of this movie was damage control. I didn't hate the movie, but that's what it felt like to me. It just felt like it was a movie that was just course correcting from the previous movie, because they knew that everybody hated the last movie, and now they're just trying to fix everything, and they didn't necessarily make it better. So now people are probably going to hate this movie, and I can't really blame them. It at least had a plot, and the visuals were still good, but even the action and the direction just wasn't as exciting. The action scenes were super short. David Yates just didn't put enough oomph or energy into them to get me all that excited. I just felt like at this point with the Fantastic Beasts movies and the Wizarding World in general, I think we're just all burnt out at this point. Or we just simply don't care because of how bad of a taste the previous movie left in our mouths. And if this is the end of the road for the Fantastic Beasts series, then God have mercy on us and put us out of our misery now and prevent us from seeing 4 and 5. If they decide to make more Fantastic Beasts movies, I don't think we're going a full 5. I think we're just going to do a 4th one, and then they're going to call it a day. And to use the tagline from Deathly Hallows Part 2, I would not be surprised if it all ends here. So that is my spoiler review for The Secrets of Dumbledore. If you guys did like the movie, I'm glad you did. I do hope that I can come around to these movies, but I think Crimes of Grindelwald for me just did way too much damage to the franchise that I can't really forgive. And now this movie had to course correct all of that, try and make it coherent and fix it all. And it's all a lot messier now than it was. So what was your favorite part of The Secrets of Dumbledore? Drop me a comment in the comment section below. I'll leave my link to my website in the description below as well. You guys are the best. Thank you for watching. My name is Alex Madden, and I'll see you at the movies somewhere.